Hi, hello. My name is Erica LaShawn. It's 6/17/23. It is 7:03 p.m. Today is my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, brother. Great brother. I love you. Anyway, all right, I want to talk about whoopings. Why? I don't know, because my mind just, I think I'm a thinker and I'm a visionary, and I just be thinking and stuff. I'm like 4 to 5 years ahead in my mind. Whoopings. All right, so all right, I'm from Michigan, so we call them whoopings. But when I moved to New York, they call them beatings. So that was something I had to get adjusted to because that's not a term that, I ain't know nobody. So when I moved here, my peers and people I would talk to and things like that, when they would share their childhood experiences, they would use the word beatings. I'm like, okay, now I wasn't beat. Now, all right. But New Yorkers don't. I don't think they mean that. Some do get beat because that's how I get paid. Some kids do get beat. However, overall, the people out here, they just kind of say it. I never got a beating, so I'm like, okay. But in my profession, there are certain things that you just, like, stop it, stop. All right, for instance, like, okay, whoopings. My brother Eric got one whooping in his whole life. I asked him. I ain't asked him about what. Now I want to know. I asked him one time, I was like, did you ever get a whooping? He was like, yeah, once. So I'm like, okay. I got 2.5. So I grew up in a home where my parents did not use corporal punishment. That's what we call it at my job. They did not use corporal punishment. Excessive corporal punishment. That's how we say it. So corporal punishment could be a whooping. It could be a hand, like that. It could be a belt. Now we step in. Some people use the buckle. I had a case one time. Some people use. I had this. I'm long in the tooth, so. I had a family. The air conditioner was broken, so they used a part of the air conditioner to whoop the child. So it can happen anyway. When I was in elementary, there was a little girl, and she was petite. We were all little, but this little girl was petite, and I forgot her name. I don't remember her name. This little child, we were all in the same grade, but she was like a little person. She wasn't a little person, but she just was like small. She was cute, a little person. But her hair was never done. So I'm like, okay. Or braided or combed or greased or anything. She just kind of came to school. Somebody tried to do it. I don't know. Anyway, one time at school, she said her father whoops her. And he puts like a leather belt, he puts the belt on the stove and he heats the belt up and then he whoops her with the belt. This is in elementary school, so this girl is coming to school telling people her father puts the belt on the eye on the stove and whoops her with a hot belt. And then she says sometimes he make them take their clothes off, and he'll do it like that. He'll whoop them naked. Okay. And she could run really fast. This little girl, every time we raced, every time we went to recess, every time we were out running around, this girl, she just was a runner. She just was a runner. All right, so back to whoopings. I got 2.5. That 0.5, the one time my mother whooped me with her hand. My mother has never whooped me ever. So one time she kind of whooped me with her hand or whatever. I'm like, okay. Because me and Boo, Fred, next door, hi, me and Boo, he go by Fred now. Me and Boo was outside And you know how when it rains and the water collects by the curb, like, it makes us, it has to get down to the drain or whatever. So it rained really bad. So it was like a little shallow pool in the street right by the curb. Me and Fred, we rolled up our pants, we took our socks off, we did it all, and we was in that nasty water. Like, me and Boo was in that nasty water. No shoes, no socks. We done rolled our pants up. So I guess my mother looked out the window. I don't know. I came in there. That was filth, flarn, filth. You not about to come in here. I saw you out there. I seen you. I seen you. So she whooped me with her hand. I'm like, okay, all right. So whooping number 2. I think my father, you know how when maybe some of you don't, but if you get a whooping, your parents will take both of your wrists, because your wrists are smaller than theirs. They can take one hand and hold both of your wrists at the same time and whoop you like that. So that my father whooped me like that. I don't know why. I can't remember. When you hear people say, this gonna hurt me more than it hurt you, I some parents really don't like to do it, but they have to. Now there are other parents, they want to hurt. They want to. They really do. All right, so my father, and he had me by both wrists, and I'm scrambling around. I can't go nowhere. He got me. Can't go nowhere. So he whooped me. I don't even know. The 0.5 was, this is the 0.5. I was playing with the stove. I hit record before I started. I had to make sure, because the other day I didn't. So I'm on the stove, playing with the stove. That is an absolute no. All right, so my father had an afro pick with the fist on the end. It was black. It had a fist on the end. So I had his hair pick. So I'm on the stove, and I just kept lowering and getting close to the flame. I got down to the flame, and the teeth of the pick curled up. They melted. They curled up, just like on The Wiz. That's one of my favorite movies. On The Wiz, when Eveline got killed, Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson. Don't get me started on Michael. Anyway, when Eveline got killed, her legs curled up, shoes, stockings, the whole thing. That's how the pick looked. The pick just kind of curled up, like. So I'm like, oh my God. I already know. I'm like, you shouldn't be on this stove. And I guess my parents was like, that she's fine. I don't have to be a helicopter mom or a helicopter dad, like hoovering over the kid all the time. So I had a little wiggle room. I had some space. Now, don't give your kids space until they are kind of until they old enough to drive. I don't know. Until they old enough to drive, you got to watch them when they walking, please. Anyway, so I knew I did something wrong, and I knew that I wasn't supposed to be playing with fire and playing on the stove. So the pick is curled up. So I'm like, oh my God. All right, so I've said this before. In my basement, I grew up in a party environment. I did. My parents, my aunts, my uncles, everyone had a finished basement with a bar, fully stocked, straight up club. Like, my aunt Laura had a disco ball, and they turned it on. So these are my memories. I'm in the basement at Tessie and Marky and them, like, I wasn't my cousin Tessie. You had that one kid in the family that can really really dance. They can really really dance. My cousin Tessie, she would get out there all by herself with her disco ball, because we at your house now. Tessie would get out there and throw down, and all the adults would they just would watch her, and Tessie would get out there. Hi, Tessie would get out there and throw down. So anyway, back to my basement. It was like a lounge. My father created a club in the basement. They all had them, every single last one of them, nice, finished, fully stocked, chairs, tables. So my father made a lounge. I'm gonna call it a lounge. We had a bar, fully stocked, and you could play records. You can get behind there and I used to go behind my bar and play Prince or Morris Day and a Time or Michael Jackson or whoever. I would be just going. I'm in my own basement, like throwing down. Okay. All right. Here I am. So over the years, as my father was creating his club in his basement, he was always like working or doing something. So it was a bunch of boxes in the corner. I don't know. So I had to pick, and I'm like, ugh. So I threw the pick in the area of the boxes because I'm thinking like, okay, I'm gonna hide this. So I threw the pick. I just threw it, and I went on my way. I don't know how long it took. I'm not sure. My father found his Afro pick. And he said, he came right to me. He probably went through, he probably did his research or whatever. He came right to me and was like, Erica, what did you do? I'm like, nothing. I tried to lie out of it. Listen, at some point, your kids learn how to lie. It's a certain age they learn how to lie. Hence, my nephew James, when he was small, The Simpsons had came out. This is I'm dating myself. This is how long ago this was. The Simpsons was out, and we all know The Simpsons. I still watch it. It's an animated show, but the subject matter may not be. I know ain't a. Did my buzzer just ring? I've been ordering stuff like a maniac, so I'm like on alert. Like, is it here? Okay. Anyway, so The Simpsons was groundbreaking. It's adult content for the most part. So back to kids. I was cutting up. I was 15 when my nephew was born. So about when he was like 6 or 5 or something like that, The Simpsons was coming on, and my nephew said, I can't watch this. I was like, oh, okay. I changed the channel. I'm like, oh, so you know now. Yeah, your kids know. So stop acting like they don't know nothing. They do. Back to the pick. So I threw the pick. So my father was like, he wasn't even pulling punches with me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, for real. So I'm lying out of it. Like, I don't know. He said, Erica, did you do this? I was like, nah. We wasn't getting nowhere. My father got a belt. This is the .5. He got a belt and was like, put your hand out. So I put my hand out. He was about to whoop me on my hand. All right, I know. I'm ready. No, I wasn't ready. Because when he took that first swing, I moved it. So he missed. He was like, put it back out there. I put it back out there. He swung again. I moved it. He missed again. He said, if you keep doing this, I'm going to keep doing it. I sat there. I kind of whooped myself a little bit. I had to take my own whooping. Like, it wasn't like somebody was like whooping me against my will. I was like, here. And he hit me like 4 times or 4 to 5 times on my hand. And he did it good. He wasn't playing with me. He straight up whooped me on my hand. And I had to stand there and put it out there. And he took it. I took it. And he was like, don't ever touch this stove again. I'm like, all right, so back to whooping. So that's the point. That's the 0.5. So I don't really count that because it was on my hand. It's still a whooping. So back to whoopings. So I'm in a field where abuse and maltreatment with children. So I've heard people around me say, well, all they need is a good ass whooping, like to correct the behavior or to stop whatever they're doing or whatever the case came in for. I've heard people say that. That's all they need is to beat their butt. That's all they. And I would say that's not what they need. That's not what they need, because if it's so useful, you wouldn't have to keep doing it. You wouldn't have to keep doing it. And I would get on the floor and be like, y'all, we in the business of bad news. I said, all these kids in here. I said, if that was true, why we have a job? If that worked, right? What you just said, like hitting kids and beating kids and doing stuff to kids like that. If that really worked, we wouldn't have a job. So it does not work. I've heard people say, well, I was beat. I was beat. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Really? Really? I sat in a training one time, and this girl in the training was like, she wanted to share her experience. And she was talking about how her mother beat her. The word beat is I don't know about the East Coast. I don't know. So she's in the training saying, well, I was beat and I'm fine. I'm okay. So she telling everybody she okay. In the beginning, in the middle of her telling us, she started crying in the training. And she just was like, because if my mother didn't beat me, I wouldn't be the person I am today. Girl, you at work. You in a training. And at that point, I was thinking like, wow, if it really worked, you wouldn't be sitting up at your job crying, talking about how your mama beat you. You wouldn't. If you thought in your mind that what you got was right and you deserved it, and I'm a better person, you would not be at your job at 30 years old talking about, it worked. It didn't work. It didn't work. Okay, anyway. And it goes deeper than that. So I don't want to go heavy. I don't want to get heavy. It goes deeper than that. Parents use fists, feet, objects, hot. I've only had 2 times in my job where I was like, I gasped. Only twice. And I've been there for 15 years. Only twice. So I was like, this one family, the father, he took a hanger and straightened it out. You know, you take a wire hanger, you straighten it out, make it long. So he heated up the hanger. It's like a stick at this point. So he heated it up and he whooped or beat the girl on her arm, the forearm, from the elbow down to the wrist. When I pulled her sleeve up, or she pulled it up, because I ain't touching nobody. Your mama and daddy already touched you enough. I'm not touching nobody. When she pulled her sleeve up, and I had to count them. because I'm really thorough with my notes. I'm gonna say 17. I'm gonna say 17. So I got up to like 17, 16, 17, 18. So she had linear marks all on her arm from the elbow to the wrist. Because it was a hot, thin object. That's what the marks look like. Linear. So I had to count them and all that stuff, whatever. It was about 17. He took that hot hanger and like really, really like and those scars will never go away. I have childhood scars that I can still see. They go away after time. But at her young age, them things ain't going nowhere. They ain't going away. She gonna have to look at her arm like, whoa. So that was one. So that was the one gas moment that I had, and I was taken aback. I was like, okay. And then the second one was, and I'm seasoned. So excuse me, I'm seasoned, so I can see things or whatever. But there was a time I couldn't. So I went to this one home, and I learned that when I look at a report, when I read a report, a lot of times there's a maltreated child. All right. Then you got maybe like another kid or another sibling. Their role is unknown. So they're not identified as maltreated children on the report. So when I was new in the game, I was focused more on the paper, and by his name it said maltreated child by his name. So I'm focused on that. There's another child older than him. So when I get there, all right, I can't do it. There are certain ways that we do things. So sometimes if a situation is critical, I go get the family. So I have to go to transportation. I have to do my voucher. I have to do this and stuff. So I come over to your house, not in my car, not in my car. I come with a van, and when I get there, y'all coming with me. It be like that. It be like that. So I get there. The mother and the father, the maltreated child listed on my report. I'm focused on that child. So I'm not really thinking about the other child in the home. Big no. Huge no. So the mother and the father, they was like antsy. There's a little bit of antsy. And then it turned into, well, just take that one. The father is saying, the mother and father, I'm putting them both together. I don't discriminate. Both of y'all. They was like, the mother, like, I'll go. We're gonna keep him. The dad, so that didn't really sit with me. As inexperienced as I was at the time, I was like, ugh. So we usually step in the hallway, or we'll make the call right in your house. Anyway, so I called my supervisor. I'm like, look, I'm here, but everybody don't want to go, and they keeping one kid. My supervisor, he was like, all of them. So I was like, boom. I hung up the phone. I said, look, all y'all got to come with me. Everybody. So we in the van. So I'm taking them to the place where we interview children. And there's a secret jail cell in the basement. Parents, you will get arrested on sight. You're not going to go to a precinct that you think you're going to. No, we don't do it like that here. It's a place we got here. It's toys, everything. The walls is yellow and rainbows and all this stuff. Guess what? It's a place in there. It's a cell in there. So anyway, because I work with law enforcement. And I work with retired law enforcement. So they do both. They either still currently NYPD or they're retired and they work with us, caking. Anyway, when I got in there with we interviewed separately. So the mother was there. The father wasn't there. The mother was there with the children. These detectives, that's why they do what they do, and that's why I do what they do. They can spot child abuse way sooner than I can. I've had a couple of situations where the detective is like, nope. I'm like, why? And they would be like, look at this. Right in the open, right in the open. They say, look at that. Look at that. You see this? Look at this. I'm like, ooh. So this family, this particular day, I'm focused on the maltreated child on the report. The brother, his role was unknown. The detective, the detective looked at the sibling and he examined the brother. When he pulled the brother's shirt up, this brother's back was purple and blue. I was like, so I've only had two moments where I clutched my pearls, like, oh my God. And I learned from that day forward, don't just focus on the maltreated child that's listing on the report. All them kids, all of them, because somebody getting it, somebody ain't. Somebody getting it worse, somebody ain't. Everybody. That was a lesson I learned in child welfare. I've also witnessed parents. They think they so bad. You ain't bad. You ain't nothing. Michael Jackson. You ain't bad. You ain't nothing. And you gonna want to hurt this child, this defenseless child. You ain't bad. You ain't nothing, Michael. So I had a mama come in there, same thing. I went and got you. I went and picked you up. Yeah, I do. Yeah. She got in there and acted like she wanted to be like, she was in there like, y'all can't shake me. That detective was like, all right, let me tell you something. When that detective laid it on her, he was like, I'm not here for this. And I'm not about to sit up and listen to you. When he got through with that lady, her hands were shaking. Now, I don't interview the client at that point because I've already done it before. At that point, it's in their hands. That's what they be doing. So I'm in the corner with my black book. Yeah. I'm in the corner with my black book, writing everything down. And she was visibly shaking. And I was looking like, you ain't bad. You ain't nothing. That detective said, I will arrest you right here, right now. And her hands were shaking. And I was sitting there looking, you know what's going on. You know what's going on. She got out of that real quick. She came clean. They will arrest you. I didn't even know. I ain't know that we did it like that. Because one day I had some time to kill. I'm like, I'm there. There's a separate building that you go to. Very family friendly. Them children don't even know. They got toys. A little kitchen set, a little, all dolls, trucks, anything that a kid would want to play with is there. They have no clue that they're there. Some of them do because they be there all the time. Oh my God, some of them do. I didn't know we arrested people at that site, so I'm kicking it with the guys, wasting time. And one of them was like, yeah, we'll arrest you. I said, y'all arrest people here? They was like, yeah. I said, where? They was like, you want to see? I was like, yeah. They took me to, it's bars. It's straight bars. And it's like this thing that if you want to lay down, I guess you can. I guess if you need to lay down, it's this slab. It's this thing. If you want to lay down, I guess you can. There's no covers, no nothing. It's bars. I said, y'all be arresting people? That's when I knew. I was like, oh my God. You will be arrested on site. So do not think that you about to just, okay. All right. All right, whoopings. Back to whoopings. Yeah. I only got 2.5. My brother got 1. I really don't, popping. We didn't whoop my nephew. I've never whooped my nephew. I did pop his knuckles. So that's something that my mother taught me. I don't know. She Let me tell you something. I'm a plant person. My mother is a plant person. We like our plants and all that stuff. So my nephew James, he would get in his walker. At that point they kind of free a little bit or whatever. My nephew was attracted to my mother's plants. So him and his walker would like rush up to her plants, and then he would take both hands and just whatever he could get in his hands, he would squeeze the plants. So a couple times, no, 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 we did that. We did that a lot. No, it was to the point. It was to the point. My nephew was like one or two, one. It was to the point. His first word was hi, hi. That was his first word. His second first word was no, no. Because we used to say that to him all the time. And then he would do his finger. So you see a baby with their finger saying, no, no. He was doing that a lot. Because we was doing that to him. Like, stop it. No, stop. My mother got fed up with you and them plants. And you kept doing it. And you kept grabbing and messing up her plants. So she took her, how the index finger, your thumb and your index finger. Boop, boop, boop. She was popping his knuckles. He stopped all that plant grabbing. And then he did it one time when my mother wasn't around. I was around. I was like, boop. Didn't we tell you? We told you. Boop. Oh my God. It's painful. He ain't doing no more. All right, so that's a whooping to do that for you. But if you have to continuously beat your child or whoop your child or hit your child or use objects on your child, if you're punching your child, it happens. All these women in this world, they got daddy issues, mommy issues. The men have daddy issues. The men have mommy issues. I had a case where the girl was at the park with the boy, sitting at the park with the boy talking. He rode up on her and physically assaulted her, fists and all, everything. He beat her up. This your teenager. So you beating up your teenager. So when I get to the house to confront the family, that mother was sitting there looking at me like, yeah, I know. She ain't had nothing to say. She was probably thinking like, well, because if he gonna do me. If he don't do her, it's better her than me. It was so cavalier. It was so cavalier. So nonchalant. She wasn't even engaging with me. She just was like quiet. And I was trying to talk to her about the seriousness of the situation. And she just was sitting there like. So these kids grow up to be adults, and we sit up here and be like, why are we in the world we live in? Why are people the way that they are? Because all right, so that's whoopings. I think I'm done. Yeah, I think I'm done. All right, my name is Erica LaShawn. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for listening. And I don't want to have a thought after I hang up, but I don't care. Bye.